Hi everyone, I'm Miss Shirley. In today's video, I'm going to discuss Malacca addmaths trial paper 2025. So this paper is 2 hours and 30 minutes and students are required to answer 3 sections which are section A, B and C. So for section A, students have to answer all the questions, and in section B, students have to answer 3 out of 4 questions. Okay, and section C, students have to answer 2 out of 4 questions. Okay, so what are the hot topics that always come out in paper 2 and maths SPM? So based on the analysis, the chapters that you have to pay attention to if you want to get at least an A- in exam is, first is vectors. Okay, so vector, you need to understand the concept of vector. It always appear in section A or section B. Okay, and next will be differentiation and integration. So sometimes the 2 topics will come out in the same question. So you have to do a lot of past year question. So what are the questions usually come out for differentiation? So like rate of change, finding rate of change. Okay, rate of change and then finding the area under the graph. That one you use integration. Okay, and also to get the equation of the line. For example, like they give you integration, they give you gradient, so you have to integrate in order to find the equation. Okay, so next is linear law. So linear law, they will ask you to change the nonlinear to become linear, and then after that you have to draw the graph, the linear graph, and get the line of best fit, and then you answer the question. Okay, so this one is high mark potential because if you know how to do, you will get a lot of marks. Okay, next is probability distribution. So students need to know how to solve binomial distribution as well as normal distribution. Okay, how to find the exact score, how to get the answer from the table given or from the calculator. Okay, and next will be solution of triangles. So solution of triangles usually will come out in section C. Okay, section C. And students, for me, I personally like this chapter because I think this chapter is easy, okay, because you just need to know, you need to memorize a few formulas, okay, like how to find the length of arc, how to find the area of sector, how to find the area of segment. So these formulas, if you memorize it by heart, then it's very easy to get the answer, okay, solve it, yeah. And next will be trigonometry. So for trigonometry, they will test you on proving as well as to find the value of x, okay. And then next will be linear programming. So linear programming is also very popular, okay, so students need to know how to draw the graph. That's it. So if students are good with graphs, then this chapter no problem. And next will be based on the kinematics, which is motion along a straight line. So motion along a straight line, you need to know displacement, okay, how to find displacement, how to find the velocity and acceleration. So students who do a lot of practice on this definitely can do, because for this question, if you know how to do, you can do, and the working is short and you save time, because there are some questions which require you to write a long working or to draw graph is very time consuming. So if the questions, like for example, if it comes out in section C, so 4 questions will be given and you only have to choose 2 questions. So if you already know how to do all 4 questions, no need to do all. You choose the one which require you to, which you can solve it the quickest, the fastest, okay, so that you save time, and then you can double check your answers for other questions. Then you save time. Because if you spend a lot of time in section B and C, then later you might not be able to finish all the questions in the paper, and then you won't be able to check your answer. So the most important is you choose the questions in section B and section C. The question you choose, make sure you can do it fast, okay, so that you have enough time at the end of the exam duration. You have time to double check your answer with the calculator, okay, or just double check again, go through all the questions. Okay, let's look at paper 2 bahagian A. So bahagian A, you have to answer all the questions and it's 50 marks. So question 1A, let's look at question 1A. So this is based on the chapter indices, surds and logarithm. Okay, rationalize the denominator and simplify. So for this question, this is on surds. So for surds, right, they don't want the denominator to have square root sign. So what we're going to do to get rid of the square root sign at the denominator? Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to do it here, okay. So 5 plus 𝗧3 over 𝗧3. So in order to get rid of the 𝗧3 at the bottom, we're going to times 𝗧3 and 𝗧3. Okay? So then we times together. So 𝗧3 times with 5 plus 𝗧3. Okay, then over 𝗧3 times 𝗧3 is equals to 3. Okay, so now we're going to times inside. So we expand the bracket. So we get 5 𝗧3 plus, so 𝗧3 times 𝗧3, so we get 3. Okay, over 3. Okay, so now we separate them. Okay, we separate them into two different terms. So 5 𝗧3 over 3 plus with 3 divided by 3 is equals to 1. Okay, 1. And this question is 2 marks. So where do we get the 2 marks? So 1 mark is here, and 1 mark is the final answer. Okay, so 2 marks for this. Let's look at question B. So this is on indices. Okay, indices. So this k over 169 whole thing to the power of half times square root k is equal to 6. So this is actually a linear equation, and you're required to find the value of k, okay, the unknown k. So here there's a power half outside, which means that it's square root, okay? Anything power half means it's square root, yeah? So there's a rule, so if it's k, let's say like that, okay? So this one means it's square root k, okay? So another example, let's say if the k is 9, so 9 power half, that would be square root of 9, okay? And square root of 9 is equals to 3, okay? So this is an example. Okay, so let's try to solve this. So this will be k to the power of half, then over, so power half, 169 power half, it means that it's square root 169, okay? Then times k, so this is square root means power half, okay? So equals to 6. Okay, so now you see, the top and the top, you can times them together, okay? Times k half, then over, so square root 169 is equals to 13, then equals to 6, okay? Then we solve it, so k half plus half. Okay, okay, there's a law of indices that you need to know. For example, like a power m times a power n equals to a power m plus n if the base is the same, okay? Then you can plus the power together, yeah? So which means that this is half plus half. Then this 13 you can move over to the right hand side, become times. So 6 times 13, okay? So here half plus half is 1. So k power 1 is k. So equals to 6 times 13 is 78. Okay, so that's the answer. And this question is 2 marks. So where do we get the 2 marks? This step 1 mark and final answer 1 mark. So we get 2 marks. Okay, now let's look at question C. So this is on logarithms. So without using a calculator, solve the equation. So without using calculator means you have to know how to show your working. You have to show your working compulsory, okay, to find the value of x, okay, x. Okay, so first, when you see a question on logarithm, you look at the base. The base given, we have base 4, base 3, and base 16. Okay, so I'm going to change this 16 to become base 4. So how to change the base? Okay, so there's a law of logarithm that you need to know. Okay, so if, let's say given log AB. So if you want to change the base to become log base C, okay, so top and bottom you put base C, and then you put B on top, and then A at the bottom. Okay, so this is how we change the base of logarithm. Okay, so here, this log 16 on the right hand side, I'm going to change it to base 4. Okay, before that, so on the left hand side, I'm going to write it over here. Log 4, log 3, 5 minus 2x equals to, okay, so this is log 16. So I'm going to change to log 4 top and log 4 at the bottom. So 4 is on top of 16, right? 4 is on top of 16, okay? So next is I'm going to simplify this. So log 4 is 1, okay? Log 4 is 1, yeah? Then over, so this is log 4, 16. 16 is 4 square, right? So 4 square, when you bring down, it becomes 1 over 2 log 4. Log 4 is 1, so it's 1 over 2. Okay, so we got this. Okay, then this one you can just bring it down. Don't need to solve it yet. just bring it down. Okay, write back the same. Yeah, the same thing. Okay, log 3, 5 minus 2x, that. Okay, and then the next step is I'm going to change this logarithm form become index form. Okay, so do you remember how? A formula? So let's say log a n equals to x. Okay, so if you want to get n, change to index form. So this a, I move it, log a, move it to the right, it becomes base a, and then x become the index, which is the power. Okay, so I'm going to use this concept on this step. So we have log 3, 5 minus 2x, okay, equals, so this 4, right? Log 4 on the left, I move it to the right, it becomes big 4, okay, which is the base, and then the power is half. So 4 power half means square root 4. So square root 4 is equals to 2, okay? So log 3, 5 minus 2x equals to 2. And again, I'm going to change this to become index form. So this 3, I'm going to move it over to the right side. So become 3 power 2. Okay, 3 squared. So yeah, 3 become the base. And then this 3 squared is equals to 9, right? So 5 minus 2x. Okay? And then I'm going to solve the question to find the value of x. So negative 2x equals to 9 minus 5 is 4. Okay? So x equals to 4 divided by negative 2, which is negative 2. And that's the answer. And this question is 3 marks. So where do we get the 3 marks? So 3 marks, the first step is this. This is 1 mark, the first step. And then this 1 mark and final answer 1 mark. Okay? So total will be 3 marks for this question. Okay, let's look at question number 2. This is on quadratic functions. Okay, quadratic functions. Okay, diagram 1 shows the cross-section of a semicircular concrete seat. Given that hx is equals to negative 2x squared plus 19x minus 42. Represent the curve of the outer part of the concrete seat. Okay, which is this. Okay, so this is a quadratic, which is a set face graph. So if I were to draw a sketch, okay, so it will look like this, right? Okay, it will look like this. Okay, it will look like this. Yeah, so this is A and this is B, and that's the curve. Okay, so now they want us to find the distance of AB of the seat. So let's say if it lies on the x-axis, therefore the y is equals to 0. Okay, so this is x1, 0, x1, comma 0. Okay, and then this is x2, comma 0. Okay, so we're going to find what is the x1 and x2, and then find the difference, and then we'll get the distance of AB. Okay, so I'm going to use the equation, the function given, which is hx. So when this is equals to 0, find x. So in order to find the x, we factorize it. Okay, if one of the side is 0, then we can factorize it. Okay, so it will be 0 equals to negative 2x squared plus 19x minus 42. Okay, this is the answer, the step, the working for A. Okay, so next is, I'm going to change all the sign to become positive. You can do that if one of the side is 0. Okay, so all divided by negative, so we have positive 2x squared minus 19x plus 42. Okay, then next is, I'm going to factorize this into 2 brackets. So this will be x and 2x. Okay, x times 2x, you get 2x squared, and then 42 will be 6 and 7, and both negative. Okay, both negative. So when x, the first bracket, equals to 0, so x is 6. Okay? And then when the second bracket equals to 0, so x will be 7 over 2. Okay? Or we can also write as 3.5. Okay? 3.5. So which means that this x1 is 3.5 and x2 is 6. So in order to find the distance of AB, I'm going to use the bigger number, okay, 6, minus the smaller number. Okay, so 6 minus 3.5 is 2.5, and the unit, no need to write. Okay, so just 2.5. So this is 4 marks. So where do we get the 4 marks? Okay, so the 4 marks we can get from here. 1 mark here. Factorization, 1 mark. Okay. And then this step is 1 mark. And final answer is 1 mark. So total will be 4 marks for question A. Let's continue with B. So by using the method of completing the square. So completing the square, all students must know how. Because it's like 99% will come out in exam every year. Okay? So find the maximum distance of the outside of the curve from AB. So for this, okay, we are going to use completing the square method, and then we're going to get our answer in vertex form. So from the vertex form, we can get our maximum distance, okay, which is the maximum value. Yeah? Okay, so I'm going to do it here. So the question is hx equals to negative 2x squared plus 19x minus 42. Okay? So before we start completing the square, we have to make sure that our a is 1. But now our a is negative 2. So which means that all the terms have to be divided by negative 2 and then put a square bracket. So x squared, this will be 19, negative 19 over 2x, and then this will be positive 21. Okay, 42 divided by 2 is 21. Okay, negative, negative, positive. So now we can start to do completing the square. Okay, so negative 2 still remain outside until the end. Okay, then, okay, we take these two terms, first two terms, the first two terms, write back the same. Okay, then after that, plus b over 2 whole thing squared. So b is what? B is negative 9 over 2, right? So b over 2 whole thing squared. So b, this b, okay, b over 2 and then whole thing squared. Like this, okay? Then minus b over 2 whole thing squared. Okay? And then after that, remember to bring down the 21. Don't forget, So plus 21. Okay? So now, we take the first, okay, see here. Okay, before that, the b over 2 whole thing square, we got to simplify it. So x squared minus 19 over 2x, and then this will be what? Negative 19 over 4, right? Okay, so negative 19 over 4 whole thing square minus negative 19 over 4 whole thing square, and then plus 21. Okay? So now, next step is, I'm going to take the first term and the third term. Where is the first term? This is the first term. This is the third term. Okay, without the square, put inside a round bracket. So this will be x, and then minus 19 over 4, close bracket, and then put a square. Okay? And then after that, I'm going to use the calculator to find what is this answer. Okay? So you will get negative 25 over 16. Okay? So next step is to throw away the square bracket. Get rid of the square bracket. Okay? So this negative 2, I times inside. So I just put it next to the round bracket. Okay? And then negative 2 times with negative 25 over 16. So we get positive 25 over 8. Yeah. So now we already got our answer in vertex form. And where is the maximum value? This is the maximum value, right? Okay, so therefore, our maximum distance, okay, is equals to 25 over 8. So that's the answer. Okay, and this question is 3 marks. So where do we get the 3 marks? Okay, so the 3 marks we get from completing the square here. Okay, 1 mark here. And then the vertex form must be correct, this 1 mark. And then maximum distance, 1 mark. Okay, so total for this question is 3 marks. Let's look at question number 3. So this is on progression. Okay, so this is on arithmetic progression, AP. So it's AP. So we've got to use all the formulas for AP. So given that, okay, so they give you a sequence like this. Okay, so actually there are 5 terms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 terms. Okay, it's part of the AP, and the 16th term of the progression is 138. So which means that T16 is equals to 138. Okay, and then they give you the sequence. So empty 145, and then X, Y, and then 138, and then another empty space. Okay, so now this 138, they say that is T16. Okay, so T16. So how? So T16 is equals to 138. So the formula for Tn is, so formula of Tn is Tn equals to A plus N minus 1D, correct? Okay, so we can use this formula to get our T16. So T16 is A plus 15D, because 16 minus 1 is 15. 15D equals to 138. Okay, so this is, I will put this as equation 1. Okay, and then how to get the second equation? So if you look at the sequence given, so this will be T15, right? This is T14, this is T13, right or not? So which means that our T13 is equals to 145. This is our T13. So I'm going to use this as my second equation. So T13 is equals to 145. So this will be A plus 12D equals to 145. And this is equation 2. Okay? So I'm going to use simultaneous equation method to find my answer for A and D, the value of A and D. So I'm going to use equation 2 minus equation 1. Okay? So A minus A, you get 0. 12 minus 15, you get negative 3D. Then 145 minus 138 is 7. Okay? So D will be negative 7 over 3. So we got D already, which is the common difference. Okay? So we got D is negative 7 over 3. Okay, now we got to find what is our first term. So A is what? So now I'm going to substitute D equals to negative 7 over 3 into either equation 1 or 2. Then I will get my A. Okay? So let's say I'm going to sub D equals to negative 7 over 3 into equation 1, for example. Okay? So either A1 or 2, I will also get my answer, the same answer. Okay? So A plus 15 negative 7 over 3 equals to 138. Okay? So A will be 138, then this minus, so become plus, so 15 times 7. So 15 times 7 is 105. So 105 over 3, okay? So 105 divided by 3 is 35. So 138 plus 35, so I will get 173. So my A is 173. Okay, so 173. And this question is 2 marks. So where do we get the 2 marks? So the 2 marks we can get, the first one, if you manage to get this correct, okay? So let me change to red. So this is 1 mark. And then final, okay, if you can get your A, you get 1 mark for this, okay? Why there's no 1 mark for D? It's because if your D is incorrect, your A will be incorrect. So your A answer is actually depending on your D, okay? So here is 2 marks, yeah? Let's continue with question B. Okay, find the smallest value of n such that n term is negative. Okay, so what they mean, so I'm going to do it at the bottom here. Okay, so for B, so Tn is less than 0. Okay, so Tn, the formula is what? A plus n minus 1d, right? Less than 0. Okay, so just now we got our A value is 173. So I'm going to put it inside, okay? And our D is negative 7 over 3, okay? Less than 0. So now our aim is to find the n, okay? The n value, yeah? Which is less than 0. Okay, so I'm going to move this, this 173 to the right hand side. So it becomes negative 173, okay? So the symbol remains as less than. Okay, so this one I'm going to expand it. So negative 7 over 3n plus 7 over 3. Okay, then negative 7 over 3n. So negative 173. So this one move over to the right. So become minus 7 over 3. Okay, so when you minus, you get negative 526 over 3. Okay, so this is negative 7 over 3n. So in order to find n, so whenever you move a negative number or fraction to the right hand side, you have to change to the opposite sign. Less than become more than, okay? So this will be negative, negative become positive. So 526 over 3, okay? Then after that, times 3 over 7, okay? So this one you can cancel out, 3 and 3. So become, so n is more than 526 over 7. So 526 over 7, when you change to decimal, is 75.14, okay? So what is the integer that is more than 75.14? So the smallest value is equals to 76. Okay, so that's the answer for B. So this is 2 marks. Okay, this question is 2 marks. So where do we get the 2 marks? Okay, the first mark is over here, 1 mark, and then the final answer here is 1 mark. Okay, so this is for B. Okay, then after that we're going to continue with C. Yeah, so C. Okay, let's look at C. Okay, let me erase this so that I have space to write the answer for C. Okay, so for C, find the sum Okay, of the 41st term to the 70th term. So if I were to draw a number line like this, okay, so here is T1, and then here is T41, and this is T70. Okay, so they want you to find the sum. The sum is the total of from T41 to T70. Okay, so I don't want this part. So from T1 to T, so the T before T41 is T40, right? So from T1 to T40 is S40, right? Okay, so from T1 to T70 is S70. So in order to find this part, okay, from T41 to T70, the sum of 41 to 70, then we use S70 minus S40. Okay, S70 minus S40. Okay, and students need to memorize the formula for Sn. Okay, so the formula for Sn is, okay, I write over here. So n over 2, 2a plus n minus 1d. Okay, remember this, yeah? So you just need to know your a and your d and also your n. So let's solve this. Okay, so S70 will be 70 over 2. And then 2 times 173, 173 is your A. So your A is 173, and then your D is negative 7 over 3. Okay, this is what we got from the previous question. Okay, so 2 times 173, and then plus 69. Okay, because it's 70. So 70 minus 1 is 69. Yeah, and then D is negative 7 over 3. Okay, then after that minus, so S40 will be 40 over 2, and then 2 times A. Okay, A, and then plus 39, then D is negative 7 over 3, then close bracket. Okay, then after that, we calculate one by one. So 70 over 2 is 35. Okay, so this is 2 times 173 is 346. And then this one times together, we get negative 161. And then this is 40 divided by 20. 40 divided by 2 is 20. And then this is 2 times 173 is 346. And then minus, this one times together is negative 91. Okay, so 35 times with this, use the calculator. Okay, 346 minus 161. And then get the answer times 35. So you get 6475. And then minus. So 346 minus 91 divided times with 20. So you get 5,100. Okay, and then when you minus them together, so you get 1375. Okay, so that's the answer for C. Okay, and this question is 3 marks. So where do we get the 3 marks? So that this step is 2 marks. Okay, and final answer 1 mark. So total here will be 3 marks.